Let's get to it. Welcome, everyone, to our September EngRes The Gathering. Here's our agenda for today. If you want to scan and follow along with the slides, add comments, give people feedback, ask more questions, here is your handy-dandy QR code. We have lots of project updates today, so I expect our project updates are going to be a hefty thing from LibB2B, IPFS, Filecoin, Basin, Glif, and Secured Finance, woot woot. And we've got some really awesome spotlights as well, and then a slightly deeper dive on recaps, takeaways from gatherings last week at FIL Singapore. So we'll be getting a quick recap on that, and make sure keep updates and questions in the chat as we go along, so that we can get through everything. As a reminder for anyone who's new here, this is our gathering of the Protocol Lab's wider engineering and research community, where we drive breakthroughs in computing to push humanity forward. This is a whole ton of different teams and projects across the entire research to development pipeline, and working on pushing breakthroughs that harness a lot of these research ideas and help them grow and scale into larger scale tech startups and adoption. We get together and share the latest breakthroughs that are happening so that we can all stay updated on what new protocol utility capability we can take advantage of. We support each other's network native research and development, and we also help grow many wonderful open source projects, networks, and communities by sharing knowledge. So a couple recent launches to highlight in the past month. There was an awesome update last week on Filecoin-powered ZK storage of Solana's chain state. Their whole ledger is now being backed up and stored on Filecoin. That was shared at Solana Breakpoint this past weekend, which was awesome to see that collaboration continuing to scale. More work to be done there, but really exciting to get to that next step. Kubo was shipped, I think, last week or early the week before. Kubo V30, which is packed with all sorts of awesome new improvements. I'm sure we'll hear about them from the LibB2B folks and IPFS folks in a second, but P2P connectivity, BitSwap, WebRTC, and a lot of other improvements. Glif V2 launched. We'll get an updive on that with some simpler rules around borrowing, interest, pool rewards, and others. There is a new S3 interface you can take advantage of from dStore and Akave, which I've tried, and it's pretty easy to use. I uploaded some photos, some documents, so go check it out. I think it's something like datadrop.akave.ai or something like that. It was very useful, worked pretty well. Big congrats to the FIL Builders team for winning an ETH Global Singapore Hackathon prize from Linea, I believe. So great work, team. And update, there are now support in Ledger Live for Filecoin ERC20s, which is super cool. Thanks, Zondax, for getting that work done and available. Excited to start playing around with iFIL or other ERC20s on Filecoin using Ledger. Some upcoming launches that are exciting. We'll hear more in this call about FIL RetroPGF Round 2, which is kicking off on Monday, so just in 4 days from now. And that's going to be a really exciting next round of rewarding and identifying key contributions across the Filecoin ecosystem. PL Dev Guild cohort number 1, the second cohort, is also kicking off next week, which is going to be super exciting to bring in a whole chunk of new dev participants into the ecosystem. We're going to get an update on Filecoin Network version 24, codenamed Tuk Tuk, in honor of all of the time we're going to be spending in Thailand later this year, which is coming to calibration and mainnet in October and November, which will be great. Secured Finance is going to give us an awesome update on the design improvements and roadmap towards our first FIL-Backed USD stablecoin, which is an awesome opportunity for all of us teams in the Filecoin ecosystem, and maybe more broadly, Filecoin supporting teams, to start using this for various different types of OpEx, either for storage providers to use this to get loans, or for teams in Filecoin to actually be paying and using this for other USD denominated expenses. So pretty cool. Pretty exciting. Last but not least, we have a lot to look forward to later this year, getting together in Thailand. There are more events than I can fit on this slide that are happening over top of Lab Week and DevCon, but a couple to shout out that maybe you haven't heard about yet, and I didn't mention last month. There's a Filecoin Hacker House getting prepared in Chiang Mai. We'll hear about that. There's a LibP2P Day being organized. I think we'll hear about that from Dave. The DRAN team is planning a Threshold Summit over top of DevCon. That'll be great. FIL Dev Summit, Lab Week, DevCon, Funding the Commons, and more. So get excited. Speaking of events, we have a whole chunk happening imminently as we move into October. There's Edge City Lana, which is happening pretty much the entire month of October in Chiang Mai. Masari Mainnet is happening just at the very end of September, beginning of October, and Permissionless happening mid-October. And then we gear up for our amazing November events with FIL Dev Summit, Lab Week, FIL Bangkok, DevCon, and a number of others. You can go and check out as we continue as a community adding these events to our PL network calendar. Please add your events there, because I'm sure many of you are also hosting events that maybe we don't know about yet. So get them all out there so that we can all show up, support each other, and hack together in Thailand. It's going to be great. All right, with that, I will hand it off to project updates, starting with Dave for libp2p.
Thank you, Molly. Live from Las Vegas, this is the libp2p update. libp2p is a modular network stack for connecting all the things together and keeping them connected, whether that's satellites in space, blockchains on the internet, and now, apparently, autonomous robots extracting minerals underground. Next slide, please. Oh, wait, that's right. That's the good one. That's the right one I need. So, okay. As Molly mentioned earlier, libp2p Day at DevCon in Bangkok is happening. We're sharing a space with the DRAND Threshold Summit. So come for all the cool things libp2p and thresholdy, DRAND-y, verified randomness, and all the other cool stuff. I've put up a form to submit talks. You can either scan the QR code or you can click the link on the slide. Please submit all the talks that you that you think would be relevant. We'll be sorting through them over the next week at the community call and lining up speakers. Hopefully we'll have a great set of content this year. I'm very excited about it. Highlights on the KPIs, community engagement. I just wanted to point out, we've been keeping attendance at our meetings since the beginning of the year, and we have doubled the number of meetings the libp2p community has, and we've tripled the number of people showing up to meetings on a monthly average. So that is a really strong sign that community engagement is improving. People care about libp2p, and we're growing significantly. Obviously, we're back from the summer. Oh wow, that didn't get updated. Anyway, we're back from the summer. You can see that our response time is down close to a day. That's really great. So if you need help with libp2p, feel free to ask in our chat rooms or our Discord or our Telegram, and you should be addressed within a day and get some answers. We are welcoming new PL Dev Guild members into libp2p this week. Hopefully we're going to get a bunch of new features, new updates and critical fixes into libp2p. I met Vipin from or he's going to be working on Python libp2p this cohort. So hopefully get to meet the others here real soon. Like I said, we have the community call coming up on the 1st. That's going to be the best place to meet the new Dev Guild members and to help plan libp2p Bangkok. And these are the technical updates. I don't want to go through all this detail, but if you're curious about a particular implementation, this just gives you an update on the number of PRs that have been added, have been completed, number of commits, how many developers are actively working, kind of what the stars are, and the latest features and releases for each one of these. There's one I do want to call out. libp2p just added experimental quick transport. That makes it the 4th implementation of libp2p to adopt quick, which is clearly the future of our transport research. So I think that's it for me, Molly. Back to you.
Awesome. Handing it off to Yiannis for Probelab.
Hi, everyone. A quick update on Probelab. It's been a long time. In the past, we've been sharing results on the IPFS network. We still do monitor the network, and if you go to probelab.io, you'll find all the plots that we've been presenting in these gatherings in the past. So we're still doing that, but I wanted to give a wider update. We're still maintaining several libp2p implementations as part of Shipyard. We're not going to give a deep technical update on those implementations. It's going to be part of the next gathering next month or whenever. But in addition to that, the Probelab team has been expanding and helping out other projects building on libp2p. Instead of IPFS only, now we've got on the website several dashboards for Ethereum, Polkadot, Celestia, Avail, and Filecoin soon to be there. Through those collaborations, we are carrying out also tailor-made studies for those networks and others. So I've linked there a few links to ETH research posts after we've completed a study on Ethereum's gossip sub performance. So really cool new results. We're carrying on the research on the transition of Ethereum to PEDAS, which is very challenging, and yeah, still lots need to be done at this the network layer. We've been monitoring the Celestia light node population recently, which is really something new that even the Celestia community was not really aware of. So that's great results coming out from there, and also a very data availability network. So that's in a nutshell what we've been up to the last few months. We're also realizing that datasets are really valuable. So we're building an API to allow access to others. If you're interested, get in touch with the team. And we're helping partners get data for MiCA compliance as token issuers, which is something that is going to come up a lot as we approach the end of the year. That's it from me. As I said, next time around is going to be the libp2p update with all the technical updates for the implementations we're maintaining. Thanks.
Awesome. Great to now have dashboards across so many amazing libp2p users. It's great. Awesome. Over to Mosh for IPFS.
Hi, everyone. IPFS is a data and content stack for building Web 2, Web 3, and beyond. The project has been one of the longtime PL network projects, and I think parts of IPFS are in almost everything we touched today. There are four main functions that IPFS performs. One is content addressing and data structures. The second is the ability to store and share data across decentralized networks. A third is verifying and authentication of data across systems and chains. So packaging authentication alongside the data itself. And then four, maintaining and publishing to a resilient public internet. So decentralized network, the mainnet, the gateways, and everything else that goes along with it. This is a fairly detailed look at what has been accomplished in Q3 and Q4. But throughout the year, and I suspect next year as well, we'll be pushing along these four main tracks. So the first is just adoption, gaining greater market share of total internet traffic, breaking out past the Web3 chasm. B is building blocks, so making components much more modular to fit what devs are asking for and make it easier to adopt and integrate. C is community and governance, building relationships across key governing bodies and other groups across the internet, both within IPFS and also probably even more importantly across the web itself. And then D is that resilient public network and making IPFS embedded in a lot of popular web tools so that you don't have to download anything special to use IPFS. So in Q3, there's a lot of launches in Q3, but I'll just highlight a few. Equity Lab launched an AI Lineage Explorer. It's a workspace on Hugging Face, which is one of the most popular AI and ML tools. It's really cool. You can see the credentials in CIDs of the data sets that are used, the models, everything that yields outputs of AI. And I think this is a great foundation, a great tool to help groups that are using AI ensure that all of their sources and the lineage essentially meets different standards that they want to set. Another is that the Thorium reader, which is an open source ebook reader, now has IO embedded in Windows for both Windows and Mac. And it's being evaluated by a nationwide education agency for textbook distribution. Blue Sky has reached 10 million users. Congrats. And I also want to highlight that Brave is removing the IPFS Kubo node, but they're in conversations with several groups to potentially embed IPFS-based authenticity checkers. So more targeted applications of IPFS to replace that Kubo node. In Q4, along that work stream, Equity Lab, look out for more Equity Lab integrations with AI tools. a lot of decentralized social apps, including a Pinkkill app using IPFS. And then on the building blocks front, you'll hear more about this from Lidel, but everyone should upgrade to Kubo v 0.30. Lots of networking improvements, it just works better. Kubo has also launched HTTP-based retrieval, other retrieval improvements. Aero now has a TypeScript and JavaScript SDK. The Discord forum has a great conversation on pain points for CIDs. I think there's like 20 comments and they're all really great. So please chime in. We'll drop the link in the chat. And then we're starting up a separate conversation on IPLD or related conversation. So going back to the most essential parts of IPFS and making sure that they're usable and flexible and scalable to all the things that we want to do with them. And you'll see more action, turning the discussion into action in Q4. I think we're short on time, so I just want to shout out a panel at the EU Digital Independence Summit, a bunch of workshops and events, and in particular IPFS Bangkok, which will be an on-conference on November 10th. We really want to, there's a lot of interest in having actual working time, co-working time sessions, whiteboard, hacking time together. So we are going much lighter on speakers and much stronger on working together for that event. And look out for some improvements in a lot of the IPFS tooling, which Lidel will talk about in the next slide.
Awesome. Over to you, Lidel.
Yeah, where do I start? So maybe like from the left side. The updates in the JS land mostly related to our overarching plan to improve connectivity for the web from the browser context. So JS libp2p v2 shipped. And as a part of increasing resiliency and also dogfooding both client and server implementations, we have a JS-based bootstrapper deployed at unique DNS header. This is still work in progress, but the idea is that a plurality of implementations will make our initial bootstrapping process better. Explorer, IPLD Explorer website is now powered by Helia, and the HTTP, the trustless and verifiable HTTP retrieval that Michelle mentioned is happening on the page. Same with Web UI. It has some UX and performance improvements, including the new IPLD Explorer. We have a big update to the checker tool at Check IPFS Network. It now is one-stop shop for debugging and basic diagnostics. You can check just CID without any providers and see if there are any providers announced on both AminoDHT and IPNI. Previously, it was just AminoDHT. Now it checks both. And the gateways, the public gateways on IPFS.io and dweb.link will, on the timeout pages, link to this tool. So a lot of users will be able to self-diagnose. But with its improvements that we've shipped, and we've shipped a few additional ones in the email reporting, but we got a very positive signal from some cybersecurity companies that we've been working with, that the phishing attack takedown times and success rates really improved. On the Go side, new Boxo and backed by new Go libp2p shipped. And finally, the Kubo 30, which I mentioned RC last time, but new transport for WebRTC, part of the browser connectivity story. We started AutoNAT rollout. Bitswap fixes, especially if you are providing content which is just on your node and the peer got stale transfers, bugs like that got squashed and fixed. Connectivity for NAT peers that use relays, opt-in UnixFS modification time and Unix modes. A lot is there. So just like a big ask, please update. We will not triage issues if you don't update. There has been so many fixes. And of course, Rainbow shipped with the same fixes and improvements that Kubo, because they are both built on the Boxo and Go libp2p. And that got deployed to IPFS.io. Probably more, but I think I've eaten enough time. Thanks.
Awesome. Some great updates from IPFS land. Over to Clara for Filecoin.
Amazing. And saying hello from San Francisco. So many of you guys know what Filecoin is, largest decentralized storage network. A lot of people are waking up to the capabilities of Filecoin as DePIN and decentralized AI come into the broader blockchain narrative. And so I wanted to quickly go over the H2 community roadmap. A lot is happening this second half of the year. And we continue to grow on storage adoption, bring DePIN compute storage and AI networks to Filecoin for L2s and integrations. A couple of key highlights. Basin, we'll hear about that later today with their public testnet. We have Akave, which has their beta L2 on Filecoin plus IPC. They're bringing on-chain data lakes for compute and AI networks. Sriracha, many of you guys are aware of. Look out for Q3, end of Q3, where they'll launch their testnet launch. DStore will be working with Kave to launch an S3 compatible decentralized storage solution. Pegasus is working on a token launch with the Lotus Data Group. And Saphira is actually Seal Storage's L2. So that's a near one. Some of you guys may not be as familiar with, but we have so many exciting L2s launching the second half of the year. And I can't wait to test all of them. Web3 tools are also a lot happening there. Are trying to make Filecoin the fundamental storage layer with support for hot data and fast retrievals. Fast finality with F3, bridging Filecoin's interoperability will actually activate with the Tuk update in NV24. Phil Oz is working on cross-chain payment of smart contracts to support for Ethereum Homestead. Proof of data possession and also Filecoin web services are really going to help bring fast retrievals and hot storage primitives on Filecoin L1. And then finally, with growth to expand the Filecoin ecosystem and community, you heard from Molly earlier today around the Filecoin Dev Summit happening in Thailand and also the Filecoin Hacker House happening prior in Chiang Mai. Non-interactive POREPs are unlocking trustless sealing as a service, which we'll expect to be ready for activated sectors. CID Gravity has launched Filecoin as a backend for Nextcloud. Nextcloud actually has 400 million users. They're similar to other on-cloud data storage solutions, so that's a huge win. Ramo is starting to feel like S3 with near perfect storage capacity. Creo is shipping Supersteel to improve storage provider performance. We'll actually also see the launch of the FIL RetroPGF, the next version of it, coming up in around this upcoming month or next month. And then Secure Finance during Bangkok is working to ship their USD pegged stablecoin in Q4. So look out for all of these amazing updates.
Woohoo, lots of growth opportunities. James, tell us a little bit more about NV24 in particular.
Hey everybody, this is James from FIL. I'm standing in for Orion today. I'm going to take you through the NV24 timeline and scope. So starting off with the timeline, as Clara mentioned, we are naming NV24 Tuk as a nod to our time that we will be spending in Bangkok for FIL Bangkok and DevCon. So first of all, 2nd of October, we're going into Actor FVM code freeze. 23rd of October will be calibration network upgrade. 20th of November will be mainnet network upgrade, and the 4th of December will be F3 activation on mainnet. And briefly going into the scope, first of all, we're starting with FIT 81, which will introduce a floor that sector initial pledge cannot fall below. The aim of this is to prevent the pledge from dropping to zero as the market grows, maintaining network security and economic stability while still reducing pledge requirements over time. We then have FIP 86, which introduces fast finality to reduce Filecoin block finalization from 7.5 hours to just seconds. We hope this will enable faster transaction confirmation and better support for low latency applications, improving user experience without compromising security. FIP 94, which adds the mcopy opcode to the FEVM for efficient memory coppering. This will ensure support for the latest Solidity contracts and improve smart contract performance on Filecoin. We also hope it will enhance developer experience without affecting existing contracts. And FIP 95, which adds a pre-compiled FEVM for smart contracts to access historical randomness, enabling more robust proofs and enhancing contract capabilities on Filecoin. Those are dreadfully summarized and shortened versions of FIPS that have an awful lot of content, innovation, and discussion. So all of those are linked directly there. Please click on the link if you'd like to dive deeper and discover more, and of course, join in the discussion. And if you'd like to track the progress of NB24, then we have a handy GitHub trackball, which I've also linked at the bottom, which will allow you to do just that. That's it for me. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Handing off to Tom for our RetroPGF update.
Cheers. Thank you, Molly. So FIL RetroPGF, this is a grants program to sustain and incentivize public goods on the Filecoin network. And it's very much a case of you get what you measure. And what we're measuring with FIL RetroPGF is impact in the Filecoin ecosystem. We're measuring it and we're rewarding it. So today is the 26th of September, 2024. So this means it's been 6 months since the first round. It's time for round 2. The current impact window will stretch from April to September. So if you have a project or you know somebody who has a project that's created impact in the Filecoin ecosystem during this this window, now's your time to get involved. So for round 2, we're scaling up 300k FIL. Huge thanks to Hold On, Filecoin Foundation, and Protocol Labs. And the timeline for running this round is the first phase will begin on the 30th of September, so that's on Monday. So the first phase will be a showcase phase, and this will be a chance to preview your impact with community, to share that. So check out the GitHub community discussion, leave a brief 50-word comment, share it on social media. And this phase will last for 2 weeks, and then we'll move into the application intake phase. For more information, check out the FIL RetroPGF Twitter or follow along on the Filecoin Twitter. And you can also get more information on the round's Notion pages. So share the word. Really excited to see what people have been building in the past 6 months. It's going to be awesome. Let's go. That's it from the Filecoin RetroPGF side.
Reminder, you can also nominate others, not just yourself. So Project Showcase, you can promote your friends as well. Don't let them miss out. Awesome. Over to Dan for Basin.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, so Basin, if you're not familiar, is a sort of like a data L2 that brings object storage to the Filecoin network. So it's built on top of the IPC scaling framework to basically enable fast finality and just help scale data that can be put on Basin essentially. So right now we have an S3 interface out, so you can easily store data on Basin. We are currently amidst a big refactor for just improving the network, getting infrastructure ready for our public test nets. So that's still in the works, but coming. So I want to share just a couple quick updates about some POCs that we're running that will likely become features of Basin in the future. So one is a ZK proof verification flow. So we use RISC-0 ZK VM to produce a proof. And then within Basin, we have these WASM contracts that verify the proof all on chain, fetching data from the Basin storage layer, and then basically running logic through just this Rust implementation to then verify that proof entirely just through that actor. And we'll have some additional experiments just to figure out what exactly this feature will look like in the future, assuming that we go ahead and actually implement it as a feature. And then we're also going through an encrypted data proof of concept, basically making private data a feature within the Basin subnets. So this will be flexible to where you can provision access to other stakeholders, or maybe like more generalized use case like reads or something like that. And it'll be pretty similar to an AWS KMS system. So it gives us like this S3 adapter plus S3 like KMS system. So it really emulates that Web2 like experience, but fully in this decentralized setup. So those are the updates for me. Back to you.
Exciting. Keep us updated on when we can start testing it out. Very, very pumped. Awesome. Over to Glif.
First of all, Basin, that is very, very cool. In an earlier call today, I was just explaining that anyone who's working on storage primitives and charging money for storage, hit me up because I would love to help get your product adopted. So yeah, let's go. On to Glif V2. This was an enormous amount of work and a very small amount of slide to represent it. Generally, there was a pretty big capital efficiency and economic security upgrade that is sort of the predominant factor for V2. So this is very deep in the weeds of how Glif, the DeFi side of things, works. Basically in V1, the pool used cash basis accounting, which means like every time a storage provider made an interest payment, the assets of the pool increased, which increases the price of IPFL, which represents the returns for liquidity providers. And there's a couple problems with this. One is that you need to force storage providers to pay interest frequently, or else the price of IPFL would never increase, and there would be this weird sort of growth of the pool that looks sort of wonky and creates issues with stakers who come earlier and stakers who come later. There's also weird MEV attack vectors that you can like wrap payments with a deposit and an exit, so you kind of like just deposit into the pool whenever interest is paid. So there's a lot of like really subtle things that cash basis accounting, we learned over time, was not ideal for. And so V2 implements accrual basis accounting, which is more synthetic in nature, but a lot safer and really only available to us because we've reached a particular size that works. And so accrual basis accounting means that the price of IPFL and the total assets of the pool increase at every epoch. This is both much safer. It's also much more predictable and easier for developers to build their own apps on. So that's really exciting, very small, and probably not that exciting to anyone else on this call besides me, but still an engineering feat nonetheless. The second one is basically the protocol in the early days. We had no good way to estimate the actual real collateral value of a miner actor on the Filecoin network. You can fake terminate every sector, and for some miners, this can take a prohibitively long time to actually compute. And because of that, the risk underwriting of the protocol, it had to use different proxies in order to estimate these kind of factors. So we would say that, for example, the storage provider's block rewards had to be above a certain amount, and the average recovery rate on the network. We were just dancing around the real true value of a miner actor on Filecoin. And after a lot of engineering experiments, trial and error, we've been able to really, really precisely estimate the liquidation value of any miner actor on the network in just a few seconds, which is quite hard to do. And this is all, of course, open source. If you want to use it, you can go to our SDK. I'll post a link in the chat below. But yeah, this has been now that we have this algorithm, we can really precisely measure risk. We've deleted a ton of code in the whole implementation of Glif because we have this data now, and we've been testing it in the wild for almost a year now before obviously incorporating it into any production grade system. And so this has just created a major step into the end goal, which is of course make like the protocol completely immutable, no roles or access control or centralization points. And we're well on our way to get there now. And yeah, the last thing is like we see evidence of this in the wild. In the last few weeks since the upgrade, the pool has increased its deployed FIL to storage providers by roughly 150,000 a week. And that's it.
Awesome. Masa, tell us about the updates from Secured Finance Land.
Hi, everyone. I'm Masa, the founder of Secured Finance. It's great to see so many people passionate about the Filecoin ecosystem. So the challenge, first off, let's talk about the significant challenge many in the Filecoin community are facing. Filecoin acts like a decentralized global hard drive. People worldwide contribute storage space and earn FIL tokens in return. However, storage providers need to cover real-world expenses like electricity, hardware, and maintenance, and all paid in regular currency like US dollars. And to get these dollars, they often have to sell their FIL tokens, Filecoin. This isn't ideal because it puts downward pressure on the price of Filecoin and provides miss out on potential future gains if Filecoin's value increases. And it can discourage long-term holding, affecting network stability. And our solution, is basically how storage providers get the dollars they need without selling their Filecoin tokens. And so Secure Finance, we've come up with a solution, which is a stablecoin backed by Filecoin. Stablecoin is a type of cryptocurrency pegged to a stable asset like US dollar. So its value doesn't fluctuate much. So it's like a digital cash that's constant in value. And so here's how it works. Well, first, collateralization. So you lock up your Filecoin token as a collateral. And then in return, you receive a stablecoin's equivalent in value, which is over-collateralized. And you can use these stablecoins to cover expenses without selling Filecoin. And later, you can redeem your Filecoin by repaying the stablecoins. By introducing the stablecoin, we provide first liquidity without selling. Storage providers, you can access funds without selling Filecoin. And basically, it gives market stability, reducing selling pressure on Filecoin, helping maintain and potentially increases its value, and which makes easy budgeting and planning as easier with a stable currency. And we can provide benefits for the entire ecosystem. The first one is the stability. It helps stabilize Filecoin token value. And secondly, it's a growth, encourages more participation as providers have better financial tools. And it opens doors for new services and applications using the stablecoin. This approach isn't without a precedent. It's remember Ethereum early days. They faced similar issues until they introduced DAI, a stablecoin backed by Ether. So this move boosted the DeFi movement by providing a stable medium of exchange and increased user confidence, so users could transact without worrying about volatility, and which led to a surge in new applications and services built on Ethereum. So we believe Filecoin can experience similar growth with a Filecoin-backed stablecoin, catalyzing the ecosystem's development. So our FIL-Backed stablecoin addresses a critical need in the Filecoin community by providing financial flexibility and promoting ecosystem growth. So we are so excited about the possibilities that opens up for all of us. We are gearing towards the launch in November, in Q4. So thank you very much.
Excited to get involved and help through those testing phases. Awesome. Okay, moving on to our spotlights. We've about 15 minutes left, so make sure to keep it tight. Starting with Raul for the recent shipping.
Yeah, we'll try our best to keep it tight. Hey, everybody, quick update on IPC's progress. Over the past weeks, we've rolled out 2 major features, and these are all features widely requested by our adopters. The first one is validator gating, and this basically allows us to enforce custom permissioning policies controlling which validators can join subnets. So you can build really flexible access control to the consensus layer based on criteria like location, by providing a proof of location, being like, for example, checking if a particular validator is also a Filecoin storage provider so that they can participate in providing hot storage in a network, or just simply being part of an allow list. The second feature that we shipped is collateral-based, token-based collateral. So with this, subnets can finally use arbitrary ERC20 tokens as collateral, which in the future will be subject to slashing. And this feature is kind of vital for users to be able to roll out their custom crypto economies eventually. So these are these updates shipped with Basin 4 and 5, which went out earlier in September. And looking ahead, we're excited about 3 upcoming features. So the first one is gas completeness, which will enable custom gas markets fully in WASM. And this ships with EIP 1559 as the default option, making also some policy parameters configurable like elasticity and block target gas. These are configurable. We also shipping validator rewards. So this enables incentivizing validators through token minting based on their block production, or eventually also app-specific service delivery metrics, like for example, retrieval rate or whatever. And finally, top-down hardening focuses on improving subnet stability and reliability when interacting with a parent. These features are going to be shipping in Axon R6, 7, and 8, which are expected by the end of this week, next week, and mid-October, respectively. So that's a quick summary of what we've shipped and what's on the horizon. And before hopping out, I just wanted to send massive kudos and thank you to our early adopters of these features who provided super constructive input during design and implementation time. And that's mainly Basin, Akabe, and Storaja. So thanks a lot, everyone.
Excited to see the awesome fast shipping cadence for all of the IPC goodness. Fantastic. Awesome. Over to Florencia. Tell us about the Filecoin Hacker House.
Right. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Flor. I'm part of the events team at the Filecoin Foundation. And I'm very excited that we're going to have the first Filecoin Hacker House. We're organizing this with FIL Us, Polaris, and FIL B. It's going to be in Chiang Mai from October 26th to November 3rd. The idea is for you to come the whole week to get like the best out of this experience. We're going to have a lot of different activities for team bonding, but also a lot of time for hacking, aligning on future roadmaps, identifying and hacking key pain points, and in the end, also strengthening the community. Please, you can find in the slide the QR code to the registration. You can also find it on the chat. I put the link, also Meredith, saying thank you so much. So please apply to attend as soon as possible. Maybe after this call, just go and apply, just fill out the form so we can have you on the radar. We are going to have our first run of approvals early next week. So apply. I will be so excited to see you there. Thank you.
Woot woot. If you want to hack on any of the things that have been talked about during this gathering, that would be a great place to do it and hang out with your fellow folks. We are also going to be right next door to the Funding the Commons Hacker House and residency that's happening, I think, throughout the month of October in Chiang Mai as well. So we'll make sure we get some time bonding with folks there. On to FIL-Colo recap and hackathon. Rishikesh.
Hey, hi, this is Rishikesh from Team FIL, and here's a quick recap of our team first Colo. So last week we discussed about our efforts on exporting Filecoin to multi-chain future via online contract, custom data feed oracles, and related partnerships. We also strategized on our targeting programmable storage opportunities among various Web3 projects while working closely with Ansar Research on BD partnerships. While we discovered the need of Web3 native file builders community on Telegram, as most of the other ecosystem tails are already using the same. Adding on to that, university blockchain clubs do provide good quality of builders who are eager to contribute and build, so we would target them next. Our next destination was FIL Singapore, where we participated as hacker and also won linear track prize. They built FIL-Beam, which is a multi-chain storage protocol for onboarding that data market onto Filecoin. While building the project, we dogfooded the on-ramp storage contract and realized that there's a need of plug-and-play SDK, which was also a suggestion by various judges. We could sense that there is a strong product market fit potential in easy storage access from various L2s based on our conversation with other ecosystem partners and judges. Our other finding was that AI brings excitement amongst the hackers and it builds interest, so it would be a good idea to provide tooling around AI x Filecoin. So what's next for us? Focus would be on Indian student dev community for DevCon, as huge Indian crowd is expected as they have free visa to Thailand and other cheaper accommodations too. We would be working towards delivering FIL-Frame with inbuilt starter kit for various integrations like protocol and many more such integrations. Along with that, we would explore on AI x Filecoin dev tooling to capture the hacker mindset. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Woohoo! Congratulations. And that sounds like an awesome roadmap to DEF CON. Hopefully we'll get some PLDG builders and, sponsors or scholars that are coming to FDS to also engage in playing around with that dApp starter kit. Sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, cool. I know we have a video from Elizabeth.
Hey everyone, Elizabeth from NFT.storage here. Very quick update from me. One, where we are today, we are still backing up off-chain NFT data with NFT.storage. Hundreds of collections every week are being backed up through our API and our super easy to use UI. We are launching support for more networks every month. We recently launched a concierge service so that we can do the work for people who just don't want to worry about it. And we've also launched our Cultural Preservation Alliance. Our first big initiative is working directly with eBay, who purchased Known Origin Marketplace and are shutting down that marketplace. We're working with them to save their NFTs. Finally, we're also collaborating with other public good builders. We're attending Funding the Common Residency in October. What's next? We are going to elevate trust and security for digital assets by showcasing proof of preservation in wallets, marketplaces, and block explorers. You can see what that will look like here. And we already have amazing launch partners on board, Brave, Tatum, and think of your favorite Ethereum block explorer. Hopefully we'll be able to share them soon. Finally, please, please, please support us. NFT.storage relies on public support. Engage with us on X. When Filecoin retroactive public good funding comes around, please vote for us. And you can also support us by buying our merch. We have this super cool, new, simple, but really cool hoodie. You have a little embroidered smiley here. Shop.nft.storage. Purchase this just in time for fall. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Woot, woot. Okay, preserve the NFTs, get a hoodie. It's an awesome opportunity, and I can vouch their hoodies are really comfy. So hopefully we'll get to hang out with Elizabeth as well at the Filecoin Hacker House and FTC residency. All right, over to Katie for our update on the latest cohort of PLDG.
All right. Hey, everyone. Very exciting news. Cohort 1 starts Tuesday, and we are wrapping up Cohort 0. I want to take a second and introduce two new folks to the team. So we have Jared Barnes, who I believe is on the call. Jared, if you want to say hello, will be joining us.
Hello, hello. Great to be here.
And we have, so Jared will be the lead of PLDG, and we also have Anuba as our program lead, who has come on and joined as well. Anuba has already done a ton of amazing work. So if you hear from her, she's really great so far. We've had in cohort 0, 25 plus PRs. A lot of you folks earlier spoke about some stuff that PLDG has done. And we have 2 new technology partners for cohort 1. So welcome Storatra and the Coordination Network. And looking forward to another great cohort with over 40 folks. So we're doubling this time.
Woohoo! I've loved working with all of our PLDG contributors, so I hope everyone, especially our friends at Storatra and Coordination Network, see an equally awesome bump in their growth and ability to get shit done. It's gonna be great. Awesome. And last but not least, let's move into our deep dive, reflecting on all of the awesome happenings last week at FIL Singapore. Clara, give us a quick recap.
Yeah, so we hosted FIL Singapore that was organized by MetaPals and supported by FF. There were 18 speakers and 400 attendees. The space was packed. We actually needed to deny people. And we also there launched a collaboration with Aether. Basically, they're a decentralized GPU leasing platform that now supports the Filecoin network. So that was really great press coverage that we had gone from CoinDesk, Protocol Village, Cointelegraph, a lot of the major crypto news. We also hosted a Filecoin storage provider meetup with all of our storage providers in the APAC region. There were around 50 attendees from across the region and a very productive PMF dialogue among the ecosystem leadership and APAC stakeholders. And finally, at Solana Breakpoint, there were around 200 attendees that attended Juan's keynote, talking about Filecoin and Solana that brings Filecoin's ZK storage solution to Solana scalability and security. And there's going to be more work on this later this year, so stay tuned, but also watch the announcement in the link here.
Woohoo! Some other awesome recaps and updates, and hopefully we can continue this awesome gathering going forward at some of the events that are happening through the rest of the year. Highly recommend watching the video. It was perfectly 5 minutes to the point. Amazing. Cool. Well, that is our gathering for today. Thank you all so much for coming. If you'd like to present or you'd like to make a request for a future presenter, I heard a request for Ghost Drive, which we'll work on bringing to the next one of these. Please shoot us an email at EngResAdmin@Protocol.ai so we can get these folks coming. And don't wait for the future to happen. Let's build it together. A lot of really amazing stuff happening. And thank you all so much for sharing the awesome improvements being made. Cheers and happy Thursday.